2, 1.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank God. Thank God. Okay? I mean, Feral needed at least another 97% buff. But I'll take it. A 7% buff, not bad. And a complete rework. Nice. I like it. I like it. I don't know how you guys have been finding the changes so far. For me, I mean, I don't think we really... I think we were okay, really, because at the end of the day, until you take Shroud away from Rogues, it doesn't matter how much damage we do. But you know what? I'm happy with it. I'm happy with what's happened here. But let's go through these changes. Let's break them down for you. So basically, what happened with 8.1 rework for Feral is we've got a few ability changes. So Rip, it's actually changed how this is the interesting thing now, is that it's not just, oh, you know, we've buffed this ability, we've, you know, added this one, we've done, you know, done stuff like that. They've actually changed how some of the abilities work. So Rip, for example, used to work where it would last 24 seconds regardless of how many combo points you would use, but it would do more damage the more combo points you used. So you'd always want to do a 5 combo point Rip. So that would put you in a situation where, you know, an enemy's about to die and you think, oh, well, well, I guess in that case, you know, you could just Ferocious Bite and it would refresh the Rip, which we'll get into that one in a second. But an enemy would be about to die, let's say they don't have Rip on them, and you're like, oh, well, do I put a Rip on it? There's no point putting a 2 combo point Rip, like, you know, is there any point? Whereas now, the way it works is that it does the same amount of damage no matter how many combo points you use, but they've just changed that the more combo points you use, the longer it lasts, which is really quite cool, because on the surface, it may not seem like that's a very big change, but actually that is quite massive, because now you're in a situation where with your opener, you can, single target opener, you can proc your cooldown, so your Tiger's Fury, and then you can rake and immediately Rip, and then build up your combo points, and then Ferocious Bite to refresh the Rip into a full duration. So you can actually get Rip on the target quicker, you can start getting that damage out quicker, which puts you in a way better position than before when you have to build up to 5 combo points, maybe you don't get lucky with any crit. Ugh, you know, it's just horrendous. So that's quite cool that they've done that. I quite like that. As well, they've buffed Shred by 20%, Brutal Slash by 10%, and that's quite nice. I mean, you know, no complaints there. I'll take it. I don't think we necessarily need all these damage buffs. I think our damage was fine. But, hey, you know, who am I to complain? Ferocious Bite no longer refreshes Rip, which is quite interesting. That is... I mean, it's quite a nuisance, really. It's quite a nuisance, because before it... I mean, it's technically an indirect buff to Sabretooth, because before Sabretooth was only useful for, I guess, 75% of the fight. Now it's useful for 100% of the fight. So they've basically removed our kind of enrage window, you know, or our execute window, sorry. It's kind of made Sabretooth a mandatory talent. I don't really know why you would take Lunar Inspiration, and you definitely wouldn't take Predator over Sabretooth. It's just Sabretooth is too strong. It's too strong. So it's quite interesting, but it kind of makes you think, why would they even why even have any other talents on that route? That obviously comes into dungeons, which we can discuss later. As well as ability changes for PvP, Cyclone returns, which is cool for anyone that PvPs. That's really nice. I know that kind of makes Feral a little bit nicer, so a little bit stronger. So that's cool. In terms of talent changes, as we mentioned about Sabretooth, that has now moved into the first tier row with Predator and Lunar Inspiration, which obviously, I mean, you're just gonna take Sabretooth. In cases where you're in Mythic Plus, depending on the week, you will take Predator, and we'll get into that later. Apart from that, we've had Savage Roar has kind of changed slightly, where now you get slightly less damage, so you now get 10% damage instead of 15% damage for its duration, but now you get some energy regen, which is nice, but is it enough? Probably not. Probably not, because it's a combo point spender, compared to the other talents on the row, which are technically combo point generators. So why would you take that? Why would you take an energy point spender when you could take generators instead? So all of the Forest, Incarnation, Savage Roar, all now on the same row. Again, Incarnation, I mean, it's too long. It's good burst damage, but it's too long. Cooldown too long. 3 minutes? No thank you. No thank you. it's just not going to be strong enough. And we say Savage Origin very strong. Soul of the Forest is just kind of basically the go-to right now. Then the next talent row, we finally have just a full AoE row, like most classes have, which is just so nice that we finally have a dedicated AoE row. It feels like now you don't have to make that choice between single target or AoE. You can kind of just go, you know what? I'm forced into making an AoE choice, so which one is it going to be? Some are better than others for single target, but you know. So Scent of Blood, when you thrash, or each enemy hit by thrash reduces the cost of your swipe by 3 energy for the next 6 seconds. I mean, okay, but swipe is absolutely horrendous damage. I don't know if you've ever used swipe. I know I haven't. It's absolutely god-awful damage. So I'm interested to know why that's a good choice, especially when you compare that on the row with Brutal Slash, which is insane, incredible burst damage for like next to no energy, compared, or Primal Wrath, which is just incredible mass AoE, sustained AoE, right? Which, I mean, Primal Wrath has some pretty beastie initial damage as well. I hit for 4 to 8k, I'm fairly sure. So that's pretty good. Why would you take Scent of Blood? What situation? So you've got burst AoE, you've got sustained AoE. Where does Scent of Blood come in? Where does it come in the mix? Because Thrash is terrible damage as well. So where are you going to be in a position where you're like, you know what, I want to use 5 Thrashes so that my next swipe is going to be nice and cheap? Like, how many mobs have to be present? In which case, why would you not just Brutal Slash? It doesn't make sense. I don't know where. There's too much setup, and it doesn't do any damage. Swipe doesn't do any damage. It doesn't matter if it's free energy. It doesn't do anything. So I don't really see the point, especially when Brutal Slash isn't expensive anyway. So why have it there? It makes no sense. Clearly, Blizzard wanted you to go Brutal Slash or Primal Wrath. And then the last talent row hasn't changed, so that's all Gucci. So looking at stat changes. Actually, sorry, I'll briefly mention, I'm quite happy with a lot of these talents. I like that we've got some strong single target now, as well as, because Brutal Slash, it's still really strong single target. It's still stronger than Shred. By, I think, something like 1.6, maybe 1.8 times as strong as Shred. I have to do the exact math, but it's really, really good, and it's very mana efficient, energy efficient. What class am I? So in terms of stat changes, we've switched from haste heavy, and with some crit, to now massive crit dependence, as well as some mastery. I think the reliance on crit just comes so much from Sabretooth and Soul of the Forest being as strong as they are, as well as, I guess, Brutal Slash just being quite strong. And I guess the nerf that they had to haste, which it's not really a nerf. I mean, why we had it in the first place, I'll never know. But basically, when you were in cat form, any haste you had just increased by 25%. At the beginning of the expansion, it was 50%. So you basically had an extra 100. Well, you were at 150% of your haste when you entered cat form, which is incredible, right? That's why it was so strong to begin with. They then nerfed it very quickly within the first few days to 25%. And then now they've just removed it, and they've gone, nope, you get the same haste as everybody else. So, boo. That's, you know, it is what it is. Haste is kind of a stupid stat. I'm not too bothered about it. Crit, you can feel the crit. You can feel the crit. When you see 2 combo points generate, feels good. Feels good, alright? You can actually feel that shit, so I'm all about it. Mastery, I like that Mastery is now getting a lot of usage because it increases the damage of our bleeds and our finish. Like, why is that not incredible? Why is that not incredible? It should be incredible, so I want it to be incredible. So I'm happy about that. Now, to kind of break down some of our Azerite changes, Jungle Fury is now incredible, as well as another one, Swirling Sands. That's really, really strong. Gushing Lacerations, I feel, is really, really good with Primal Wrath, because Primal Wrath will actually prop from your Blood Talent. So I feel if you've got a Gushing Lacerations, Primal Wrath, and you've got Blood Talents, that's a really nice combination. I would still take maybe Jungle Fury. So you could potentially, say you're going to do Mythic Plus, potentially take like a Gushing Lacerations, a Jungle Fury, and maybe like, I don't know, a Wild Flesh Rending or something like that. Like, that feels like a good combination. You know, you're kind of hitting all your bases. Then again, I probably wouldn't take Wild Flesh Rending if I was going to take Primal Wrath, but you get my point. It's, you got some nice little combinations you can make now. But in terms of Azerite, for single target, I'm running Swirling Sands, a Jungle Fury, and an Archive of the Titans. Obviously, just so strong. And in Mythic Plus, I don't really change that. I kind of just keep it. But I'm trying 2 Jungle Furies. The only issue is that my Jungle Fury gear is like 15, 20 item levels lower than my other stuff, so I'm kind of losing a lot of agility and just main stat from that. So not so nice. So I'm kind of just running the Swelling Sands in a minute. Let's look at some of the builds then. So in terms of single target, just go Sabretooth, Soul of the Forest, Brutal Slash, and Blood Talents. Obviously, be proccing your Blood Talents on your Ferocious Bites and your Rakes and your initial hit, of course. Really easy build, no thinking at all. You put your Rip on once, and then you just Ferocious Bite for the rest of the fight. Very, very brain dead. I don't really see... I don't understand, like, I mean, if you look at the talent row of Soul of the Forest, Savage Roar, or Incon, why is Soul of the Forest supposed to be the strongest talent? Like, you've got a combo point spender with some uptime. Like, you have to juggle extra things, and it does nothing. And then you've got Incon, a 3-minute cooldown. That should be, when it comes very hard hitting, it should it should be very strong. And yet, the passive talent, the one where you don't have to use your brain at all, is the one that does the most damage. It should never be that way. The way talent should go is you should have a passive that is slightly less damage than the rest, but, you know, you don't have to think, so it's fine. It's a beginner level. Then you should have an intermediate, maybe some uptime or something like that, right? I actually think Savage Roar uptime is probably more difficult to do than knowing when to proc Incon, because 9 times out of 10 with Incon, it is just use it on cooldown. So, but there are some times when you want to hold on to it. You know, maybe you're on Zekbars and you want to wait until you get your 25% buff or whatever the damage buff is or something like that. You know, so there are times when you may want to hold on to it. Mother, for example, you want to wait until you get into that 3rd room, but you don't want to proc it in the 2nd room, even though it's up in that 2nd room. So you know, there's still some thought process to Incon. Not much, but still some. So, why, you know, you should have this beginner, intermediate, and advanced, but they just don't have that, so that's questionable. In terms of AoE builds, I would still take Sabretooth for AoE, except for if things are dying. So if you're on, like, a tyrannical week, I would take Predator, 9 times out of 10. Say you're in a Mother Load, say you're in a Siege of Bralis, like, there's so many just, like, non-elite mobs that you could just get that Jungle Fury, because that's what you gotta be thinking, that Jungle Fury proc, as well as the energy regen. That makes Predator, Jungle Fury being strong right now, makes Predator so much more valuable. Because instead of only benefiting from Jungle Fury every 30 seconds, you can now benefit from it. You can pretty much keep it up indefinitely. Once things start popping off and start dying, you're good. And you can just maintain that throughout the whole fight. So, that's really, really nice. So yeah, so if things are dying, I'll take Predator. If things aren't dying, I'll take Sabretooth. So on a fortified week, I'd probably just take Sabretooth most of the time. Which kind of sounds counterintuitive. You'd think on Tyrannical week, you'd want to take the single target, and on fortified week, you'd want to take the AoE. But it's the reverse, because on fortified week, nothing's dying, so why would you take Predator? And on Tyrannical week, well, all the ads are dying, so take Predator. Yeah, sorry, so yeah, when everything's not dying, you don't want to take Predator, you take Sabretooth. And when everything is dying, you want to take Predator. So it just kind of counterintuitive, really. So yeah, so that's the single target build I would use. The AoE build I would go. If there are no ads, I would just, like I say, take Sabretooth and Brutal Slash. Brutal Slash is still really, really good single target. If it's a fortified week, I'd take Primal Wrath, and I'd take Sabretooth. Like, you're basically getting, you kind of, I don't know, you're cycling through it, and you're going, right, so all the ads are dying because it's Tyrannical week. So I'm going to take Predator, and I'm going to take Brutal Slash, because I won't get any use from Primal Wrath, because nothing's alive long enough to benefit from Primal Wrath. But also, everything is dying, so I'm going to take Predator. So it's kind of counterintuitive. You'd think, like, oh, you know, Tyrannical week, I'd want more single target, but it doesn't necessarily work that way.
Beware.
And then for the AoE, yeah, I would go, for fortified week, I would go Primal Wrath, and I would go Sabretooth. So you're getting your single target damage from your Sabretooth, and then you're getting your AoE damage from your Primal Wrath. You've got Blood Talents to buffer either one of those. So say your AoE needs to be strong because you're on trash packs, well then you hit your Blood Talons with your Primal Wrath. And if you're on the boss fight, well then you hit your Blood Talons on your Brutal Slash or your Rakes or your Ferocious Bites. So you've kind of got this nice mix now, this nice combination of being very versatile with your damage usage and what you want to be buffing. So it's really nice, really good job, Blizzard, on it. I'm happy with it. I think it's too strong. I think feral damage is maybe arguably too strong now, where we could get a nerf. And I know a lot of you guys are going to be looking at me like I'm actually insane, but hear me out, right? Hear me out. Feral DPS is not bad. No one can play the class. That's what it is. No one's able to play the class. And all of the good players, they left to play other classes. They went to play their Assassination Rogues. They went to play their Demon Hunters so that they could secure their raid spot and they could push high Mythic Plus and whatever else, right? So everyone abandoned Feral, so it makes the class look way worse than it is. You get these random Ferals who are just like, oh, I'm going to play it because I like it or something, right? And they're probably bad. No offense to them, they're probably bad. Because I would say that Feral does take a little bit of brain processing, right? It's very easy to mess up on it. It's very easy to have very low uptimes on your bleeds, all that kind of stuff. It's very easy to just mess up on it. So I can understand why people would be bad at it, but I think the general community is just not incredible at it. And that's why it makes it seem that Feral is so bad. But actually, when you play and you execute Feral correctly, it has incredible damage, incredible single target, incredible AoE. So I don't think Feral's damage is the problem. We even got a 7% buff to all abilities. I saw people saying it should have been a 20% buff, a 30% buff. I mean, incredible. Who are these people? At some point, you got to stop blaming Blizzard and learn to play your spec. But, yeah, we got a 7% buff. I thought that was overkill. I didn't think we needed that. I'll take it, but I don't think we need it at all. But hey, you know, who am I to complain? So yeah, that kind of covers all of the aspects of Feral right now. Am I happy with the changes? Yes. Do I think they're in part too strong in areas? Yes. I'm scared that they might nerf us in that case. If you look at Feral, it's had like 10 changes over the course of the expansion. The next issue I have with it is what is the next issue I have with it? Yeah, so Feral's damage, if Feral's damage is not the problem, okay, so why aren't we getting invited to Mythic Plus? Why aren't we getting invited to raids? Well, let's look at raids, right? You've got 13 DPS spots in most cases. So are you going to take a warrior that can give your AoE, your melee classes a buff? Are you going to take a Demon Hunter that has raid-wide utility in terms of an AoE defensive? It's got some nice AoE stuns, it's got very high mobility, it's got burst AoE, burst single target, it's got sustained single target, it's got sustained AoE, like, it's just incredible in every aspect. You're going to take that. That also applies a buff as well, doesn't it? Demon Hunter brings a buff. So you're going to bring those guys, or you're going to bring a rogue with very good defensive use, very good utility, very good damage output. I mean, look at Zol, for example, right? Are you going to bring those classes? Or are you going to bring a Feral Druid, which gives you Stampeding Roar? You just not, or you're going to bring, because if you're going to bring a Feral Druid, why not just bring a Balanced Druid? That's everybody's question. Why not just bring a Balanced Druid? And I get it. Mainly because Balanced Druids are terrible players. That's what it is. They play Balanced Druid. Come on. So, just on principle, you shouldn't invite them. So, no, I'm just kidding, Balanced Druids. I'm just sad that you take all of our group spots. So why are you gonna take Feral when you could take any other of those classes, or just more ranged? Well, any ranged class is gonna be better than Feral because they're ranged. Simple as that. And Oldia has very much complemented range specs. Very much been aggressive towards melee, and it's kind of been damaging to us. So why take a Feral? That's a question. The next kind of question is in Mythic Plus. Well, are you going to take a Feral Druid that's going to be more melee, so more chances of taking threat and getting smacked, standing in some form of AoE cleave, you know, whatever. You're going to be in that situation. Or are you going to take a Rogue, which has Shroud, which has the ability to unlock locks in Tol de Gore. It has some really good defense. It's got Sap. It's got all these really good uses of utility. Are you going to take a Rogue, or are you going to take a Demon Hunter with incredible damage, or are you going to take a Feral Druid? Well, it's a no-brainer. You're not going to take a Feral Druid, okay? You're going to take a Boomkin that's got Trance. Treants. Trance. The Woody boys. The Tree boys, right? It just doesn't make any sense. So until Shroud gets nerfed, we're directly competing with Rogues for our spot. And we may, in some, like, I mean, I beat Rogues on DPS. Not all Rogues, obviously, but I beat Rogues that are the same item level, same rate of IO, right? And I'm 1400 IO. So I'll go into a 14 key, a 15 key, and I will beat rogues. So it's not like our damage is worse. It's purely down to utility. And until Blizzard does something with rogue utility, we are directly competing for them with a spot, and we will never secure it. We never will, because Shroud is too important for Mythic Plus. So maybe they need to change how Mythic Plus works. Maybe they need to change Shroud and make it less viable. Maybe they need to, you know, make it so that potions, invisible potions, don't proc the cooldown, don't have a 10-minute cooldown and don't affect the cooldown of your other potions. Because realistically, whenever you Shroud, you just Shroud or you Death Run. Simple as that. So it's like, if Shroud's on cooldown, okay, we'll just Death Run this. Oh, it's not on cooldown, okay, we'll Shroud it. And normally, whenever you're going to Shroud, it's up for you. It's on cooldown. Like, you're ready to use it. So, it doesn't really make any sense. I don't know. Until Blizzard change that, we're kind of dead in the water. So, we'll see. We'll see. Anyway, boys, get out there, keep hustling. I do want to remind people to check out the Discord channel. You can submit your dungeon keys. You can submit to me a video of you playing Feral in a Mythic Plus, in a boss fight, whatever it is. Say, hey, Sai, what's going on? My damage isn't up to scratch. I keep dying. I'm you know, what's going on in this dungeon? These mobs keep killing me. I don't know what's happening. What's happening on my screen? I keep getting kicked. Why am I getting declined all the time? Why won't anyone accept me into the dungeon? Just record whatever you want to do. Send it to me, guys. I will review it. You don't have to have your webcam on. You don't have to have your microphone on. You can literally just record it. There's lots of easy software you can download out there just to quickly record. OBS, for example, Streamlabs, whatever. You just quickly record a dungeon. Submit it to me in the Discord channel, as mentioned in the description of this video. And I will review it. I'll then add it up on stream. I'll add it up, on YouTube. I'll do it live on stream so that you can tune in and check it out. I'll give you a heads up when it's going to happen. And we could run through it together. It's really cool. It's really interesting, especially with all these new changes. A lot of you guys out there might not be sure what to be running, what to be using. So yeah, check it out. And yeah, guys, catch me on Twitch, twitch.tv/SideSlant, all that good stuff. Love you, love you, love you. Merry Christmas and all that good stuff.